It's important to achieve a smooth transition from one activity to another so the pace of the lesson is maintained. To do this, you have to be well prepared. The class needs clear instructions. Using the OHP means I don't have to turn my back on them. I can encourage those pupils who are attending well, spot and manage the few who go off task, and redirect them without interrupting the learning of others. I include a reminder of the behaviour skills needed when they are working in pairs or groups and of the routines we use. 8PT respond well to structure. They know that I will decide how the class will be organised and that they will make good progress.
When we've drawn the different shapes, we have to record how many right angles can be in each of them.
That was very clear. OK, and we're going to concentrate on working quietly in pairs. You did very well on this last lesson. Let's see if we can do even better today. So, in pairs, talking quietly, hands up for help. Remember, this is what we're getting points for today. You've got 10 minutes. Go.
I like going to the front, makes me feel proud. I like the way Miss helps us with our behaviour. It's good when we get class points. I like it. I'm looking forward to bringing in my own music.
This part of the lesson had a clear structure. After giving pupils instructions for the task, Kath invited Kirsty to interpret and repeat the instructions, which she did confidently. This allowed Kath to check pupils' understanding and make sure the instructions were accessible to the whole class.
That was very clear.
Kath used the overhead projector to remind pupils of the behaviour skills needed in this part of the lesson and built on their previous success.
You did very well on this last lesson. Let's see if we can do even better today. So, in pairs, talking quietly, hands up for help. Remember, this is what we're getting points for today. You've got 10 minutes. Go.
Establishing a time limit is a good strategy for helping pupils to organise their learning. This level of structure is particularly helpful for Billy and helps to remind Mrs. Latimer of lesson timings. Kath gave a clear signal for pupils to begin the task, and they engaged immediately, demonstrating good independent learning skills. Victoria used her lenses appropriately to help her to read. It was clear that class points would be linked to this particular behaviour, and pupils seemed motivated by the reward system that Kath had established. The transition from pupils listening to instructions into the task itself went smoothly. Pupils talked quietly as they settled into the task, and this gave Kath an opportunity to have a quiet word with Sally. Kath used discreet and effective non-verbal signals to indicate to Anita that she needed to talk privately with Sally, and later to refocus Mike on the task.
When we've drawn the different shapes, we have to record how many right angles can be in each of them.
Since joining this school, one of my main objectives has been to establish a positive climate for learning. Kath is particularly good at this. In this part of the lesson, she's had to manage the transition into a task and to take account of how Sally was feeling. This can be very difficult. Some teachers might let one of these issues take priority, leaving the other unaddressed. For the transition to run smoothly, all the class must understand what they have to do. Kath stood in her usual place at the front of the class to give instructions. Pupils can anticipate that information or an instruction is coming if Kath moves to this position from another part of the classroom. Her manner was calm and composed as she gave her instructions. A composed stance transmits confidence and demonstrates to pupils that the teacher is leading the learning.
You've got 10 minutes. Go.
Because Kath stands still when she delivers instructions, pupils who are not good at following written instructions can focus better on her words. When appropriate, Kath uses gestures to support her verbal instructions. For example, She pointed with a flat hand to the behaviour objective written on the board. Because she faces the class, Kath can scan the group's expressions to check that learning is taking place. She uses eye contact effectively to accompany her verbal instructions. This makes all pupils feel included and provides an unobtrusive way for her to acknowledge positive behaviour or refocus pupils on the task. Good examples from this part of the lesson are the way she caught Mike's eye and frowned to indicate disapproval, and her glance at Anita to indicate that the conversation she was about to have with Sally was private. Kath also thinks about how her physical proximity impacts upon her pupils. In this part of the lesson, Kath crouched down next to Sally to create a private space in this class of 30 pupils.
When we've drawn the different shapes, we have to record how many right angles can be.
One of the things I've noticed in some classrooms is the transition to task can be slow because pupils have not understood the teacher's instructions. Pupils can sometimes be seen asking each other for clarification about what the teacher has just said, or putting their hands up, looking worried or anxious, to ask the teacher to repeat instructions. This can result in the teacher being distracted from her core business of teaching, and some disaffected pupils can use it as a way to avoid getting on with their work. Kath appreciates that some pupils have difficulty in attending to, understanding and interpreting instructions, and that this is a specific area of difficulty for Billy. There are various reasons why other pupils may find it difficult to concentrate. In this class, Sally will be finding it hard to concentrate, Mike is easily distracted, and DJ is tired. At the same time, other pupils are eager to get on with the task and would be held up by elaborate and repetitive explanations. Kath's clear, succinct instructions, which are pared down to emphasise key points, benefit everybody.
So, in pairs, talking quietly, hands up for help. Remember, this is what we're getting points for today.
Billy needs clear, unambiguous instructions, and Kath and Mrs. Latimer have discussed this approach together. Mrs. Latimer helps to reinterpret the instructions for Billy if he needs it. Kath punctuates her instructions with brief pauses to enable pupils to assimilate each piece of information before she moves on. During these pauses, she scans pupils' faces to check for understanding. You can see from pupils' expressions that they have understood what she is saying.
You've got 10 minutes.
Her tone of voice is clear and firm, and she addresses the whole class. Kath keeps a bottle of water on her desk, which helps preserve her voice.